Welcome to this English practice video, a 1C2 levels. Botany a 1 level. My name is Lily. I am a student. I like botany. Botany is the study of plants. We learn about flowers, trees, and grass. Plants are green and beautiful. They grow in the garden, in the forest, and in the park. Plants need water, sunlight, air, and soil. Without these things, they cannot grow. In class, we look at plants and draw pictures. Sometimes we water small plants. I like botany because I love nature. Botany a 2 level. My name is Mark. I am a student and I study botany at school. I think botany is a very interesting subject. Botany is the science of plants. In botany lessons, we learn about different types of plants such as flowers, trees, bushes, and grass. Plants need sunlight, water, air, and nutrients from the soil to grow. They are very important for life on Earth because they produce oxygen and food. We also learn how plants grow from seeds. First, a seed starts to grow in the soil, then a small plant appears, and later it becomes a big plant or a tree. Sometimes we go to the school garden or park to observe plants. We also draw plants and do simple experiments in class. I like botany because it helps me understand nature better. Botany B1 level. My name is Peter. I am a student and I study botany at school. I find this subject very interesting because it helps me understand the world of plants. Botany is the study of plants and their life processes. In botany, we learn about how plants grow, reproduce, and interact with their environment. Plants need sunlight, water, air, and nutrients from the soil. Through a process called photosynthesis, they produce oxygen and food, which are essential for life on Earth. We also study different parts of plants, such as roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. Each part has an important function. For example, roots absorb water and nutrients, while leaves help plants make food. In our lessons, we sometimes do experiments or observe plants under a microscope. We also go outside to study plants in nature. I like botany because it helps me understand how important plants are for people, animals, and the environment. Botany B2 level. My name is Anna, and I am a biology student with a strong interest in botany. I am particularly fascinated by how plants adapt to different environmental conditions and how these adaptations influence ecosystems. Botany, as a branch of biology, studies plant structure, growth, reproduction, metabolism, and classification. Modern botanical research also focuses on plant genetics, molecular biology, and ecological interactions. One of the key areas in botany is photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert sunlight into chemical energy. This process not only sustains plant life, but also supports almost all life on Earth by producing oxygen and forming the base of food chains. Another important topic is plant adaptation. For example, some plants in desert environments have developed thick leaves to store water, while others in cold climates have antifreeze-like substances to survive low temperatures. In laboratory work, we often analyze plant samples, study their cellular structures, and observe growth patterns under controlled conditions. Field studies are also essential, as they allow us to examine plants in their natural habitats. I find botany both scientifically important and environmentally relevant, especially in the context of climate change, biodiversity loss, and sustainable agriculture. Botany C1 level. My name is David, and I am a graduate student specializing in plant sciences. My academic focus lies in understanding the physiological and molecular mechanisms that enable plants to adapt to rapidly changing environmental conditions. Botany today extends far beyond traditional plant description and taxonomy. It integrates molecular biology, genetics, biochemistry, and ecology to form a comprehensive understanding of plant life as dynamic and responsive systems. One of the most significant areas of research is plant stress physiology. Plants are constantly exposed to environmental stressors such as drought, salinity, temperature fluctuations, and pathogen attacks. Their survival depends on highly complex regulatory networks that control gene expression, hormone signaling, and metabolic adjustment. Photosynthesis remains a central topic, not only because of its biological importance, but also due to its relevance to global climate systems. Researchers are increasingly focused on improving photosynthetic efficiency in crops in order to enhance agricultural productivity under conditions of climate change. Another important field is plant-microbe interaction. Plants coexist with vast microbial communities in the soil, many of which play crucial roles in nutrient acquisition and disease resistance. Understanding these symbiotic relationships has significant implications for sustainable agriculture and ecosystem management. In my research, I combine field studies with laboratory-based molecular analysis, including gene expression profiling and biochemical assays. This interdisciplinary approach allows for a more complete understanding of plant behavior across different scales of organization. Ultimately, botany is no longer a purely descriptive science. It has become a predictive and applied discipline with direct relevance to food security, environmental conservation, and global sustainability. Botany C2 level. My name is Eleanor, and I am a researcher in plant evolutionary systems biology. My work investigates plants as highly complex adaptive systems whose form and function emerge from multi-layered interactions between genomes, cellular processes, environmental constraints, and evolutionary history. Contemporary botany has moved decisively beyond its classical foundations in morphology and taxonomy. It now operates as an integrative science that synthesizes genomics, systems biology, ecological modeling, and evolutionary theory to understand plants not as static organisms, but as dynamic, self-organizing systems embedded within fluctuating environments. A central conceptual shift in modern plant science is the recognition that phenotype cannot be understood as a direct expression of genotype alone. Instead, phenotypic outcomes arise from nonlinear regulatory networks that integrate internal genetic programs with external environmental signals. These networks exhibit emergent properties such as robustness, plasticity, and context-dependent expression, which complicate any reductionist interpretation of plant behavior. My research focuses particularly on plant phenotypic plasticity under environmental stress. Drought, salinity, and temperature extremes trigger cascades of molecular responses involving hormonal signaling pathways, epigenetic reprogramming, and transcriptional reorganization. These responses are not merely reactive, but often anticipatory, reflecting a form of biological memory shaped by evolutionary pressures. Equally significant is the study of plant-environment coevolution, particularly the intricate symbioses between plants and microbial communities. The plant holobiont concept reframes individual organisms as composite biological entities whose fitness depends on dynamic interactions with microbiomes, fungi, and soil ecosystems. Methodologically, modern botany increasingly relies on high-dimensional datasets derived from multi-omics mix platforms, remote sensing technologies, and computational simulations. However, the epistemological challenge lies not in data acquisition, but in constructing coherent explanatory frameworks capable of integrating heterogeneous scales of biological organization. Ultimately, botany today is less a discipline defined by its object of study than by its methodological pluralism and theoretical ambition. It seeks to articulate the principles governing life as a distributed, adaptive, and historically contingent process. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment,